Recently, there have been some discussions of, I believe, how was the word? Rush Limbaugh said it, a war. Now, this war that we speak of is unlike any war we've seen in the past, and I think we're starting to lose sight on that. And instead of fighting an actual enemy like previous wars, like the Viet Cong or the Japanese or the Germans, or even in the Gulf War where we were against Saddam, we are fighting a shadow, and this shadow keeps on running from us. And what we are doing currently is we are invading, literally invading people's homes. I mean, we are sacrificing individual personal freedoms and rights, ones that we have fought for in the past, to simply say we want to protect ourselves and pretty much say America lifestyle is the most important lifestyle. And yes, I do realize that our personal survival is the utmost important for each individual, their family, their friends, their way of life. But however, we need to remember that what makes my life greater than someone else's. I mean, imagine a country coming into the United States suspecting freedom fighters, as they're so different way of saying a terrorist, was in America, and said, oh, America's abiding this terrorist or freedom fighter. You know what we have to do? We have to flush them out. Kind of interesting when you think about it on the other foot. I mean, you wouldn't think like patriots or, freedom fighters would be considered terrorists, but they are. And the fact of the matter is, we simply just have lost sight of where we're going. I believe when Rush recently said that each generation has a great moment, World War II, World War I, Civil War, where they believe what's right and they go for the American way. Unfortunately, their generation's time has passed. I mean, we're seeing most of that baby boomer generation being dependent on retiring and being dependent on Social Security, and they need some financial security as well. I mean, they look, and many of their children are having grandkids already, and then we realize the generation that is truly dying for this war is the people that were born with their children. And how do they interpret this? They say, oh, we're protecting the future of America. The people who are dying are the future of America, not them. I mean, I'm sick and tired of people stating the fact that, ooh, we gotta have oil, we gotta protect our way of life. The American way of life is very important. And yes, I do realize that we are at war, and casualties will happen. It's just that I think some people have a really unrealistic expectation of what will be the great outcome of this war. I mean, when conservatives see this and they say, oh yes, be patriotic, support your troops. I support our troops. Do I see them coming home anytime soon? Do I agree with a lot of the liberal media when they say we have to, evacuate all from Middle East? That's the reason why they're fighting us. No. I believe we started a conflict, and yes, I do believe we started it. I don't really remember all these, car bombings occurring in Baghdad before we did, and if anything, we were the one doing it. But yes, we have changed Iraq's way of life. We've changed Afghanistan's way of life, and I believe it was for the better. However, we have to realize what we're getting into every single time we are willing to fire a gun. I think many people jump to this conclusion that blowing something up or storming in and taking over will simply solve the problem. I mean, the more and more resources we draw away from America, the less and less we'll have for ourselves. So, in a weird sense, we're destroying our way of life by trying to go in and change another person's. I mean, we're losing educational funds, we're losing police funds. I mean, I don't want to say the whole Katrina thing. I think that was just poor planning by everyone's part. But the recovery process has been extremely slow, and I'm amazed. I mean, the San Francisco earthquake was a great disaster, yet you had aid and people were being helped immediately. And they were being helped all over the country, and it seems like today we simply forgot about that. And we're worried more about, well, first it was North Korea, and then it was the whole Lebanon issue, and now we're just simply worried about terrorists in general. Back to the whole thing. Do I believe it's a political cover-up for, Bush to say, the reason why you need us Republicans is because we know how to handle a war. We know how to finish a war. The old saying is, Democrats start wars, Republicans finish it. And somewhat I do believe that we are sort of a cover-up. However, I do believe that Democrats, not necessarily liberals, Democrats, are trying to use any liberal edge to gain votes. I really believe that, even though I despise Lieberman, I believe he does have a point when, even though it was completely taken the wrong way, because obviously if he won that primary, I don't think he would be to destroy the bipartisan effect. But the current system of bipartisan is a failure. I mean, people feel their vote is wasted unless they vote for one or the other. I was hoping that, yes, it is ridiculous it is foolish at this current stage to assume someone like Nader can come to power. However, I do wish that the American people will think the next time they vote or do an action, and to consider that your opinion doesn't have to agree with anything the experts say. You don't have to jump on any bandwagons. You don't have to agree with anyone. You can agree with parts of people. I mean, you don't have to label yourself as a conservative. You don't have to label yourself as a liberal, Democrat, Republican, anything. You are an individual that can make, I hope, intelligent choices. And if you've listened to this entire rant by me, then you obviously were quite interested in what I had to say, so I thank you for your time. If you want to say I'm ridiculous with my expectations, that's fine. I did this more out of frustration of seeing just propaganda in general. Thanks, YouTube.